Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. My name is David Lozeau. For those of you new here, I'm a Southern California-based Day of the Dead style artist, and I'm a little painting tonight. Hope you glad you could join me. We're going to be doing some enamel line work on this piece here. If you have any questions, feel free to fire it through. Probably a good, 30, 45 minutes. Just want to get you guys in a quick little painting as I'm here in the studio. Thought I'd patch you guys in. So let's get rolling. This painting is available. Details are in the right-hand side. But again, any questions you have, fire them through, and let's get rolling. Mixing up with a Tuesday stream. Crazy. Also, let me know how the sound is. We have a new microphone we're testing out, so just want to get from your side. You can hear it. Make sure you're not just yelling to the abyss. I feel like I could build a helicopter from scratch just with this drawing. I feel like I have all the basic principles down.
I feel no sense of safety in that helicopter. Is it like a pull starter?
There might be a lawnmower engine involved.
Graham says hello.
Hey, Graham. Glad you could join us.
Your eyes don't deceive you. It is a Tuesday afternoon here. Tuesday early evening your time, for once.
We had everything ready early and a couple days early, and here we are.
Not so early, says he's in bed already.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess so. It's probably what.
The other way around.
10 o'clock
Yeah.
now. I suppose. Well, as far as I can tell on the mic, everything is clear. It's not dropping out. It can pick me up. It picks you up.
All right.
So I think it's good.
And we'll hope it stays up.
Yeah, Graham says the mic's good on his end. I
Uh-huh.
think so. I don't know what the issue was last time. I'm listening to it through Instagram. He's listening to it through YouTube. So I would think it's pretty good.
All right. I'm going to go with it. So I get myself in trouble.
You what's that?
So I get myself in trouble.
Yep. Because you want to do all the mechanical.
Mm-hmm. Back up. Slow it down. What's your vector, Victor?
Uh, oh, look how misty it is. Did you just hear like a goose or something go by?
Yeah.
Melissa Comstock says, I'm at work. You're not allowed to be on silly Facebook stuff while at work. Ruby says, oh, the heart's falling with the little parachute. Is that cute? Yeah, Melissa saying you started too early. You know what? We were like ready. We both had other plans for today, but that weather outside's really misty and foggy, and we just
I have the piece ready to go,
yeah,
so let's just
ready.
mix it up. Give people who don't normally aren't able to catch the stream because the schedule doesn't work out. Just give them a chance.
Yeah, East Coasters and international folks. International folks are about to go to bed, but at least maybe some people could catch it a little differently.
Just using a little bit of white.
She says, show the frame, please. Did you pull the frame up?
Not hold
Are you that prepared?
It's right here. Of course, it's by me.
Oh, you're so prepared.
1 second. Let me fix some.
And he sent you a message before we went live, Melissa, just so you know. An update on your shipping. As an FYI. Oh, well, you have the white on there. Might as well do your little...
Do a little bit here and there. Yeah, I'm already...
Would you prefer, like as a practice, to do highlights while you're going?
No.
If, for instance, the paint could stay...
Nope.
No. You
No.
do like
Literally total different... It's a total different brain thing.
Oh.
And it's basically, I need to know where I want to pop, it to pop a little bit of color. And I don't know that and how much to do it until the whole painting is done.
Really?
Yeah. It's so easy to overdo.
I thought it was more of a factor of the paint drying out and you just couldn't have two paint colors going at the same time.
If you're light with your hand, you can do it almost immediately. But yeah, it's one of those things where I got to see, what I'm trying to pop. And if I went along as I painted, I would overdo it.
Yeah.
Because I love it. I mean, it's highlights. It's a whole world's built on shiny highlights. So it's better if I just kind of wait.
Don't forget the frame.
All right. Boom, ba-doom, boom, boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. There's a little frame, and yellow matches the little helicopter.
Cute. I like the yellows. It's really cool. Intentional or unintentional?
Oh, intentional.
Oh.
Yeah. Because of that frame, you have to plan because it is a color. You can't just go in there willy nilly.
Yeah, I see. So do the highlights, is it almost the same to you as line work? Like the fun of it? Or is it even a different?
It's in a weird no man's land. It's because you're like, it's like a dash. It's not enough time to be like, overly invested in it. Even a huge painting, the highlight, I'm done within, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's a very rewarding because I don't think anything besides line work has directly instantly impactful. Like a highlight can just instantly make you go, oh, okay, awesome. That separated those two objects that I couldn't tell they were separate before, stuff like that.
Marcel says this is relaxing. Have a good one, David.
Thank you, Marcel. Glad I could get a little ASMR painting.
So is inking, like straight up, like inking over watercolor, is that the same feeling as line work?
Yes. Okay. Same permanence, same, shaping of an object.
But still fun and free.
Yes. Probably a little not as free as painting. I feel like inking is less forgiving.
Really? Less forgiving than enamel?
Because with enamel, I can always, go dark with the object, and really overly shadowed in an area to patch up a mistake or something. And with inking, it doesn't have that same, it can get muddy real quick.
Melissa has to log off to drive home, but just keep up the great work.
All right, Melissa, thank you as always. If I get you fired, I apologize.
Fading Sun Photos on Instagram says hello.
Hey, Fading Sun, thanks for joining us.
Marcel is saying, how long have you been painting? Like how many years? Like when did you start?
Okay, so I'll give you the short, long story. Always drew as a kid, went to college, got a graphic design degree, also a fine art minor. Took all the drawing classes, didn't take any painting classes. And then about 7 years after I graduated, I started painting. So that would be a long...
When did you really started painting?
Like
getting
2005?
Back into painting
2000...
Yeah, 5, 6.
Like 2005,
for fun, right?
For fun, yeah.
Hobby and relearning. Right?
Yeah, relearning 2005, 2006. And then started actively painting and doing shows and stuff 2008 maybe.
Yeah.
And then went full-time in 2010 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been full-time ever since. Weird path, weird road. That my style, I'm very fortunate my style has always kind of been prominent in my work. I didn't have to try and figure out what my style was. My brain just kind of saw this, and this is...
Well, it was different back then, too. You weren't sitting around, because there was no Instagram and Facebook. You weren't sitting around saying, how do I get my style
Yeah, exactly.
attention? It was just painting to paint, right?
Yeah.
And painting a lot and drawing a lot.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So the style came for no reason.
Yes,
you weren't trying to force it
No,
into
no.
how to be productive or profitable.
Exactly. A lot of people ask me, how did you develop your style? And I'm going to say that very fortunate. It's kind of how my brain saw things. I never had to kind of say, what is my style going to be? Because that can be a really big endeavor if you don't have a style and you're trying to find one or create one for yourself. That could be a real difficult thing to set yourself apart from people. It's about as small as I like to go with the skeletons. This is really the max.
It is small.
Minimum size. Yeah, this is really small.
Yeah. And at this size, this lends itself to the cuter, less correct anatomical skeletons, but could you feel comfortable going this small for anatomical? Like,
No, not a chance.
You think it's just there's too many.
It just
bones,
becomes a
there's
big
too
muddy,
much to be
yeah,
done?
especially like in the rib cage area. Imagine, I have 3 ribs on each side, and that was difficult. In paintings that I've had, skeletons that small, I usually kind of will they're in the background, or they're almost, what you're seeing is almost the highlights of the skeletons, because you just can't fully render them at that size.
Too many bones.
Yep, it becomes a muddy mess.
Yeah, I don't think people would realize how tiny that brush is.
Yeah, I mean, if you look next to a finger.
I mean,
Oh, I just painted my finger.
itty
But
bitty, yeah.
that wasn't helpful.
Not helpful. Marcel says, where did you get your ideas from? And can you also paint freestyle, like straight out of your brain?
So, yeah, I could paint. So here's the thing about the freestyle notion. These are all out of my brain, but I want to think out my ideas and plan them and map them so that it comes out in the right place, and the helicopter's not over here and she's over there.
When you're doing an animal.
Yeah, when I'm doing any kind of artwork I do, I always sketch it out. All my sketches are freehand, but there's, just sketch out the whole idea to think it out compositionally. I've only seen one artist in my entire life who was a master at doing that without drawing it out. And that's King Jum Jin, who passed away recently. Never a better artist at just freestyle, going at it with black line work and having it just work out wonderfully. I mean, his brain saw everything in advance.
My God. I forgot he passed away.
Just
what an absolute loss.
Just absolute loss. I've never seen an artist better, and you should look him up if you like line work, because I mean, his videos are amazing. But yeah, I can freestyle, but I freestyle in sketches for paintings and stuff. I plan everything out. I'm very methodical in that way. I want it to be.
Also for inkings.
Yeah, inkings.
Also do freehand.
Yeah, inkings I do freehand a little more, but leave a little sketch underneath usually, to kind of make sure everything lines up.
First.
Yeah, pencil first and then over it.
Which again is why I think you should do a live stream with drawing or inking, because it is interesting to watch. It is.
Yeah, I like
you would think
to see it live, to see.
It through, but it's very freeing, right? It's
Yeah.
very loose
And we'll even start with like what should we put in this one, and kind of just kind of map it out. We won't do too much ahead of time.
Yeah, I think that would be
for
fun.
a sketching one.
Have you gone too low to finish your copper blade and all that?
No, I'm waiting. See my hand keeps sitting here for him.
Okay.
I can do the blade last and get out.
I'm concerned
Yep.
about you painting into a
As you should be.
Do you enjoy drawing freestyle? Like drawing, just total freestyle, no finished idea?
Great question. I find nothing more intimidating than sitting down in front of a blank piece of paper. I hate it. Nothing's worse. I even like when I digitally sketch, I like putting a background color swatch of just scribble, like a parchment paper or something background to draw on, because it takes some of that edge away. But drawing's fun and freeing, but it's also it's a new idea from scratch is always, unless you have it fresh to go, just drawing to draw can be somewhat challenging just to be focused on what you're drawing. It's a funny question because it's fun and relaxing. It's also, to me, somewhat.
I think most artists would say a big blank piece of paper is daunting, right? You're just
Yeah.
the first stroke is like, okay.
Yeah. I'm most relaxed when I go to sit down to do the line work on a painting. And all the gouache is done, and now it's just the part that my brain loves and that I love. This part, the detail. Like, this is I love to get to. When I'm doing the drawing on a painting, I don't enjoy that part. All the underpainting to me is just getting in the way of the fun.
So, he had said, before, where do you get your ideas from? So, where did this come from? What were you doing?
So this is partly inspired by a no-door helicopter flight we took in Kauai years ago. Just Because it reminds me of the craziness of a helicopter.
How unsafe it is.
How unsafe it is.
Pretty unsafe.
It's totally unsafe. Doors off, completely unsafe experience. It's super fun. But it's also inspired by an ultralight helicopter that was actually flying over my house last week. Just a guy strapped to a motor in a seat.
Okay, so an ultralight flew over the house a week or so ago.
Yep.
And you're like, oh wow, look at that guy, how strange, right? How dangerous and weird.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I remember when I was in a helicopter.
How also dangerous and weird. Yeah.
And how weird and unsafe that is. And then do you instantly go to, that's a funny painting? Or are you...
For sure. It goes, I'm in the process now of doing sketches to do these live streams. I got to have work done in advance. So I was basically doing a bunch of sketches that I would be using for live streams. And I was thinking about the ultralight and how ridiculously crazy he was. And I was like, oh, what if how does he pick up his girlfriend? Like, is she waiting at the airport for him? Like, how does that all work? And this funny little scenario popped in my head. And I'm like, oh, and I just kind of drew it. But sometimes that's how ideas happen. It's all based in Day of the Dead. If you're new here, the work is all based in Day of the Dead, the traditional Mexican holiday. That's kind of where the skeletons come from. And then it's basically we go from there. But a lot of times, my personal life will a lot of my nature stuff and bird stuff is because we have those birds here, or I live near the ocean. All these things kind of work their way into the paintings.
So, good advice for somebody who's like, I'm in a creative block, or what do I do? Is it just like, just get out, just change your environment?
So I've always have two pieces of advice for if I have a creative block or I can't figure out what to do. The key thing is a sketchbook. A dirty sketchbook, it doesn't matter. Ideas you don't show anybody. Just get the brain working. Use that part of your brain when you have creative time. Just do that. And the second thing is, if you can't figure out what to draw, what to do, and it's too intimidating, copy something you like. It's just for you, but use your brain. Sometimes copying takes the hardest part, the conceptual parts all out, and you just work on your skills, your technique. You basically focus on all the hard work's been done for you. You can just work on your skills. And rather than not spend that time doing art because you can't figure out what to do, you at least do something. You work those parts of your brain.
Marcel says, funny question now. What do you think about the Lakers? Because I'm from LA and they just got swept out.
So you're not going to like this response.
No.
Because I grew up just outside Boston on the East Coast. So any Lakers sweep, I love.
Oh, boy.
Some things never die.
But you don't even watch basketball.
I know, I don't watch basketball anymore, but some things never die. And my dislike of the Lakers will always be there. You asked. I didn't bring it up.
See, I feel like as a old school Celtics fan, because you're very old.
Very old.
You're like Larry Bird.
I'm Larry Bird, Celtics fan.
That shouldn't your anger... Yeah, I guess Lakers were a big deal, but like the Pistons, aren't there other teams that you have real Celtic issues with?
Yes. Hey, had he said Detroit, I would have been more angry. Because I mean, the Lakers were awesome, man. I mean, Magic, watching those guys.
Do, right?
I never liked Kareem because I thought he was arrogant. But you're right. The Pistons, much more like disdain.
Disdain, right? Isn't that funny? Obviously it was a rival with Lakers, but still. Wasn't that a great rivalry though?
But I feel like since I was a little younger, wasn't there for 81. I was 11. Not even, I was 81, I was 6. 86, I was 11. So I remember the 86 series more, but for me, like I am probably more involved in the Pistons series because the Lakers were already kind of, that rivalry was past then and it was beaten on the Pistons.
So you don't really have Lakers issues.
No.
And especially now. Right? I mean, you're not.
No, I think LeBron.
Not vested.
No, not vested. I think LeBron's amazing. I like watching old men play basketball, so that's why I would want to watch LeBron.
And we're lucky. Really, we are lucky. We got to see amazing players over the span of our lifetimes. I mean, amazing. Same with soccer, international soccer. I mean, we've gotten to see amazing.
We did see some all-stars. Yeah. Did he just quit the stream after that? He's like, F
He
this.
heard you say Boston, he's like,
Yeah,
dropping out.
later.
Because once you hear an old man wax poetic about weird.
This took surprisingly longer than I thought for that.
Yeah,
part.
well, you know, mechanical stuff always has, and you enjoy the mechanical stuff. I just feel like when you're painting it, you enjoy all the little pieces, you know.
And it's so tiny.
Yeah, this is a tiny piece. We're 34 minutes in. Like a piece this size, you'd probably almost be done with.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like the mechanical little aspects to the engines make you work hard. Even if it's completely made up, I don't know how this engine.
Are you saying this engine isn't going to work?
Well, like, what's the little curly Q that could easily come disconnected?
Spark plug wire, obviously.
That's incredibly unsafe. I feel like this is an incredibly exposed engine. I don't know anything about those kinds of planes, or helicopters, but.
Ultralights are basically just sitting in front of the engine.
Okay, but like this, like I feel like this is incredibly unsafe. Did you use any reference material for this?
Just the guy flying up. The guy flew over. I looked up.
The guy that was 100 feet above.
Yeah.
Flying over the house.
He was like 500 feet to 1,000 feet above me.
Was he that high?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought they were really high.
No, he was pretty high. That was my reference material. I did look at little bits of multi-light helicopters.
Do they have to get clearance and stuff?
Well, he can't go over a certain altitude. I don't know how it works.
I don't either. Like, could he just take off from his house?
Yes, if he stayed below 500 feet, he could just take off from his house.
But you don't think he was around 500 feet?
No, he was higher than that. And Dad had seen him in Oceanside the day before, and I had seen him in Oceanside the day before. So he's just all cruising.
So he's flying a good 30 miles.
Yeah,
right?
full fly. This was a real deal.
And does it take gasoline?
Yeah.
It's gas and stuff.
Regular thing. It runs out, you fall.
Okay, I don't love that. I hope all of his information is up to date. Gosh. Like, how much gas could it possibly hold?
Well, this little tank right here is my gas tank.
That's your gas tank.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have about 5 gallons.
That's like a 5-gallon tank.
Yeah.
How far could that guy really have gotten?
Far as to pick her up. The bar.
Yeah, really, what's she up to? My goodness, lady.
She's waiting for the first helicopter that came by.
I go.
Aren't we all?
I'm not going to be choosy when it comes to guys driving a helicopter. If I'm getting a ride home, I'm getting a ride home. I feel like she's going to lose those shoes.
I feel like I should have more shoe research than helicopter research.
Yeah. Yeah, your shoes are pretty consistently a chunky heel.
Yeah, I'm a chunky heel.
Not always very strappy.
You're not going to be out all night in the shoes I paint. That's for sure.
No, they're not comfortable.
I think he left the stream immediately when the little Celtics comments.
I would. No, he's still there.
All right.
Good for you, Marcel. Not when he starts talking about stupid Celtics. He says, a personal question. Do you have a regular job too, or do you live off your paintings?
Great question. So I have been full-time living solely off the paintings now for 12 years.
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe a little longer?
Basically 2011.
Since 2011.
Yeah,
And again, I've been amazingly fortunate. We've been all over the world. We've been to 13 countries. You know, we've traveled with the art too, and solo shows in Australia and England. It's been pretty amazing. These little skeletons have taken us all over the place.
Yeah, they have. Graham says, I thought you were more of a farmer now. Let me tell you what, he doesn't do a lot of hard labor out in the avocado groves. Let's put it that way.
I have a guy.
Dave's version of farming our avocados is occasionally picking like 4 or 5 for the week. That's the extent of it.
But I get to drive my, 4-wheel Polaris, down there and use a picker pole, and so I basically cosplay a farmer.
Yeah, he's cosplaying farming. We have a guy who does all the hard work, and Dave gets to just reap the benefits by picking avocados.
And annoyingly asking question about avocados all the time he's here. So, what do you think about the grove?
Looks good. Looks like there's avocados.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's very satisfying when our grove manager, because when we moved to this house about 2 years ago, it's over 100 avocado trees. And then we had 2 different rounds of plantings where we added almost 100 more and then another round of 100 more. So we have over 300 now. It's pretty significant. If you talk about like 4 acres, 300 avocado trees, that's a real nice little production grove. So we have a manager that fertilizes and monitors the watering and how they're working in the soil conditions, all this kind of stuff. So when he shows up, like a few times a week to like check on things, it's very satisfying. Like somebody's caring about this grove and keeping things running, and so that we can have a good harvest. But Dave and I just kind of watch him drive by. We're like, yay, he's doing work.
Yeah, I love farming.
Hey, I love farming all together, right? Not just that guy doing all the nope. And then we get to ask him questions and try to learn, but we're not out there doing the digging.
You're really undermining my farmer cosplay.
I think you need to know. He's not wearing overalls. Let's put it that way. Dave's not wearing overalls.
Only because you said I can't wear them one strap down.
Wayne says, "Oh my, don't drop Cinderella."
Cinderella's 3 sheets to the wind.
Cinderella's a little bit of a drinker.
Mm-hmm. Just hanging out with dwarves all day. I think that's the wrong word. I'm sure Disney calls them.
Oh, that's Wayne of Wayne Major.
Oh.
I didn't know. Oh, so they must be, what are they, like midday on Wednesday? Right? 16 hours ahead?
It's just depressing because we're not going to get desserts.
Oh.
Or Mexican food. So
yeah, I heard
they're both just teasing now.
Adrian and Wayne, I was told that you guys are going to come to North America for a wedding, and yet you're not coming to our area. And that's a big boo.
Yeah, big boo to you.
Yeah, so it's Wednesday over there. What time Wednesday? So too.
Need one of those world clocks. It's 18 hours, was it?
Oh, I don't know how to do the counting. Maybe 6 in the morning on Wednesday morning over there? I think that's right. Something like that. 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Anyway, we're mad at you guys that you're not coming out after the wedding, because I was telling Janet no one else cares about my yard. Nobody cares about my yard, and at least Adrian might pretend to care. Nope, nobody. Just the UPS delivery people when they come. When I'm not there gardening, they'll
The one guy who asked, "What are you doing here? Like, what are you actually doing?"
When it was like a bomb went off out here, like mid last year, because we moved here about 2 years ago, and I redid the entire front of the house, and it looked like a missile site. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, come back in like 4 months, and it'll be a whole thing. I promise. It'll be like so much better. And he's like, okay, sure it is. He says, oh, we could arrange to send some desserts someday. I've shipped cookies, but never cakes. They'll only be extra pistachio flavor by the time they get to you. Yeah, they're keeping their holiday just in Canada. Marcel says the detail work is incredible.
Thank you, Marcel. Again, this is the fun stuff. This is this is what I came for.
Yeah, this really is quite small.
Yeah, it's a real
Those are tiny boobies.
Tiny boobies.
I was thinking how much it offends me when the delivery people don't say anything to me. when FedEx or whatever does a delivery, and I'm like, you're not even gonna compliment me on my yard. Okay, that's fine. I don't care. I turn off my headphones and wait for a compliment.
You're like, ask me questions.
Jason over out at Maryland is saying, is this original available still?
Hey, Jason, this original is still available. The details are in the right side.
Is this the same size that he got? Isn't it though? The little country couple?
No, it's a little smaller than the country couple.
I wouldn't want him to try to match.
I don't remember what that was in.
This one is, Jason, is 7.5 wide by 11 tall.
Different. I think the frame shape is different because he had a coffin-y shaped one.
No, it was this shape.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Well, just from the size of the people in that one, this one is. Now you got me all confused.
Gosh, I am too. You'd want to if you're trying to match Jason, you'd want to double check. But this is available, and it's 7.5 wide by 11 tall. It's kind of what do you call this shape? Like an extended octagon?
No, it's the P word. It's a polygon.
Don't start pulling out your geometry crap on me. I don't know what you're talking about. Trying to look back at the piece that he got.
The picture after the post stream picture would have it in the frame.
Here's the picture, baby. Can you see me from the side?
No, cannot. Let me see.
That's what his frame was like.
But look at the size; it was much bigger.
Yeah. See, I think that one was bigger. So much confusion.
But then the kids steal that one anyways.
Yeah.
So you don't have to match because you've already lost the other one.
Yeah. He's saying he wants it. So just make sure shoot Dave a message if you're sure. Marcel is saying, how much do you pay for your painting stuff, like in a month?
Ooh, it's tough. So great question. Tough because I kind of bulk up and buy things all at once. So like I could do 10 paintings right now and not spend $1 because I have everything stocked up. But to give you an idea of materials wise, one of these enamel paints, I'll go through one a year is usually enough. So I use probably 4 colors the most. I buy those once a year. These are $15 a pop. The canvas that I use, let's say most of my paintings are normally 1824. It's $50 a pop. That's a board, and then I cut the board to fit these kind of pieces. So, this piece I could get probably 3 of those out of there. So this board that's painted on probably would cost $15. My brush that I have in my hand, I probably get 2 or 3 paintings out of a brush. This brush is $6. And that's kind of like the easel is $200. There's things that you do that are investment for all the paintings, and then things that run out as you go.
Yeah. Well, in buying in bulk, it's really rare for us to buy anything as one-offsies, just because of how much shipping costs and well, it's difficult to buy things up front or in bulk and prepare for like the year. It's more economical in the long run, right? You have to have the money up front to be able to invest. But think about this though, it's years. This is over 10 years of investment. And so at this point, it's just adding on, you know what I mean? It's like incremental product.
Well, and I don't test things much now. I know my style. I know what works. I know what I buy. I always test new things, but that's a very small part of my budget. My budget is the things I know I'm going to need and go through.
Yeah, a few years ago, you were testing gouache. You had moved over to a different gouache company.
Yes.
Just to see, because you don't know what you don't know. So you might be really into a certain acrylic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is the background, all this, the different blue and teal colors in the background. Each painting takes 5 to 10 different colors, right?
Yeah, the background mixes. Yep.
So you were really set on a certain acrylic just because it was inexpensive, accessible, and it worked for you. And then only a few years ago did you kind of try another brand.
Yeah, switched it up.
And you're like, okay. But there wasn't a ton of testing for a long time. Like that was the acrylic you went with, not because you're sponsored or anything else, but it worked. And then you tried a different gouache company and you decided you liked that gouache better, right?
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago. But for 6 years, it was the same company. So you built up all these materials. And then when you figure out you like something better, then you're kind of buying a whole new slew of that company, right?
I've made donations to local art things of hundreds and hundreds of dollars in art supplies because I've changed what I use or what I do.
Which is fortunate or unfortunate.
Yeah.
Part of art, right, is figuring out your materials and enjoying different materials. Because
certain materials change how I paint. Like finding this enamel. If I didn't find this years ago, then my style wouldn't look like it does. This, being able to paint with one shot, one line, the work wouldn't look like this if I had to use acrylic, if I didn't find this enamel stuff. So it definitely has built the look and feel of my work is related to the materials that I use.
Like when we do the kind of economics of the business, we keep track of every expenditure and put them into buckets as a tax person would want you to. So like art materials, art supplies, things that make art are all put into a bucket. And so we see year over year how much is spent on that so that it all makes sense in the end. Like you need to be profitable. You need to be careful. When he goes and tests a new product, which isn't all that often anymore, it's like, what's the point of testing this? Does it make sense to? Because art supplies are expensive.
Yeah, is it a problem? Like, is this so much bad? Are you trying to solve a problem you currently have? Because if not, don't go spending money because you want to buy new stuff.
Right. So like I said, but kind of buying in bulk, he'll sit down and say, I'm getting low on white. okay, I'm not just going to go and buy one little container because then they're shipping applied and all this kind of stuff. Then it's what else am I almost out of? About how long do I think it would take me to use these products? Like, so you're almost buying for the year in a sense, as far as materials go at this point.
And some things, like large versions of this substrate that I'm painting on, it's called aquaboard. I've done a lot of and have a lot of commissions booked that are very large paintings. That's special order, and it comes in 4x8 sheets delivered on a freight truck. So I have to invest in money for those and buy a bunch up front because I'm bothering to have the shipping, and I might as well get a bunch of them so I have the pieces here. So I have to order a piece each time a commission comes around. Just stuff like that.
Huge expenditure.
Yeah, that's expensive.
You really have to, as an artist, it's really difficult when so much money goes into supplies. And when we first started doing this, we both had corporate jobs. Dave was a graphic designer and I worked in digital media. And it was like, wait a minute, you're spending a lot on materials.
Mm-hmm.
like art supplies is a constant factor unless you're over painting. If you're just painting over your designs and for hobby, you're creating a lot of artwork, you're spending money on a lot of product. So how can you make this make the most sense? And that was really how we started. It was like, okay, listen, you're spending X amount per month.
You're a business.
You maybe need to be a business because this isn't just a hobby.
Yeah, you're spending a lot.
Or if it is a hobby, you need to pull it back. Like that's kind of crazy, right? Like there has to be decisions made about how you spend, and that's where we started. It was like, okay, I want to keep painting as a hobby, but I am spending a lot on materials. How do I offset that cost? And we kind of sat there and said, okay, how do we offset this? And it was maybe there's local shows we could do or events or, because just trying to quote unquote sell online, start a website, no one's going to just come to your website. You don't exist in the world. And so it was like, how do you physically get in front of people and start offsetting some of this cost? Our thought wasn't like, let's start an art business because we were both successful in the normal business world. Like, why would you get in the way of that? And how could you possibly make so much money that you would get rid of those corporate jobs? So it was like really just a factor of supplying your habit, right? And then it was, well, we've done some shows and the style is progressing and the effort is progressing.
Maybe this could be a part-time job for me.
Yeah, maybe it could just be a good part-time job. It's making money, it's paying for supplies. And after a few months, it was like, maybe this is a job. I mean, keep in mind, this is back in like 2010. It was like, is this a job?
Mm-hmm.
Again, keep in mind, the internet wasn't like it is now. And so it was like, obviously we should have a website for this, but there was no great outlet to share art and show art, nor could we see other people doing art. So it was just like, I guess you have to really go local and try to find a way to sell this art. And it really evolved from there. In the course of just a few years.
Doing farmers markets and shows and just started to get out there and sharing the work and then kind of, hoping it would become more. Yeah,
it became a job, like a real job. And it paid for itself, which we're really lucky about. And then it paid for me to also work at full time at this. And, so it's pretty amazing, but it did not start off thinking in those terms. It was how do you pay for supplies?
You could have told me years ago that art could support two people. Like that, to me, it's amazing that's what we do, and it's never not humbling.
Yeah, that's amazing. Melissa Comstock says, "I'm home."
Does she live in a closet at her work?
She had to do a little drive there.
That was quick.
So Marcel is saying, what's the longest time that you've spent on a painting, like the biggest picture or canvas?
Just finished it up. I just did a 4x8 full coverage. Full coverage means enamel touched, this little tiny brush touched the entire painting. Like this isn't full coverage because there's nothing painted. This is just the background. Full coverage means every single thing is detailed. I just finished a 4x8 foot huge pirate painting with two giant ships. Commission. It's a full commission with a custom frame that I built. But two giant pirate ships fighting, and that one was full coverage, 4x8 sheet, and that was easily over 200 hours with the drawing and everything else.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. When it's full coverage like that, when kind of every aspect of the background and foreground is...
Yeah, there's nothing is rested. It's all, that's as big as it gets.
So, many moons.
That was a new record.
Broken up into many days, Like this is a single sitting paint, right? A good hour long done. That was a few hours a day, every other day for weeks.
Weeks.
Right.
Yep, weeks.
Yeah.
And again, the gouache alone was 30 or 40 hours just of all the, like the gouache is the under, all the colors, the underpainting. That alone was 30 or 40 hours of just that, day after day of just putting the gouache in.
That's why you can imagine these little paintings of this kind of 8x11 is super satisfying in the sense that there's a middle, beginning, and end. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's freeing because I can do
Yeah.
fun designs and be in and out and capture these little stories.
And you see the end to it.
Yes.
I think with a painting like the big pirate piece that kind of it dragged out for ultimately for months because you had to do other things in between. You couldn't just sit down and do nothing but that.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to see the end.
Yes.
Very hard to see. And so in your mind, you're probably like biting off small pieces.
Yep,
right?
just going small pieces and basically very methodically. I painted from the upper right column to the bottom left column and just basically painted like that. Just went right through whatever's in my way was getting painted that day. But I didn't start to feel like there was ever going to be an end to it until I got to maybe the halfway point of the enamel. And there was so much water in the painting, just complex patterns, and it was a lot. It was challenging, but again, really rewarding. It's such a huge piece. You finish it, and it feels like it's another. When I look at that piece, when it was finished, it was like another person had painted because I was so distant from it because of it painting so long that the parts, looking back at other parts, I'm like, oh, I forgot that part because it was weeks ago. All right, let me pop some white highlights, and we're gonna wrap this sucker up.
All right. So any last minute questions?
Yeah, any last minute questions? Get them in. I'm gonna pop some highlights, and then we're gonna be done for tonight.
So this guy's sold.
This guy is sold here. Thank you guys again for joining us. So just for those that are here, we're trying to live stream every week. The piece is usually available from the second we post about it or a second live stream starts. So I do not do commissions this small. This is just something I do for live streams, and it's fun and thoughts. Commissions are much bigger, so this is a good way to get a small painting. So anytime you have any questions about something you've seen online, just feel free to shoot us, a question. Hey, what is that? What's going on? Is it available? That kind of stuff.
Marcel said it was a good time here. Have a blessed one.
Hey, thanks for hanging out with us.
Good questions.
Hope you come back. Yeah, good questions. Even though you're a Laker fan, we'd like to have you back. Okay, just really great questions. That was a good variety of stuff.
Takes time to play, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, stuff we don't think about. Just kind of forget to appreciate some of this stuff sometimes.
Little highlights.
This brings so much.
It's funny because up close in the painting, you really see it.
Yeah.
Online, you're kind of like, I think I see it.
You're like, he's doing something.
Yeah. So Marcel's saying, when is your next live session?
So we haven't got good enough to lock down when we're going to do it because we have 3 dogs and things often go haywire. But we've been on this is kind of different for us. Normally we're trying to do Thursdays.
I do once a week.
Once a week, Thursdays at 3, 4, 5 in that range.
You can't say a day.
We can't say a day, but
I'm going to try to press him to do another one this week because I feel like our weeks.
This is news to me. I did not know that.
Yeah. I feel like when I look at the calendar that we've gotten so much big stuff out of the way. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like every once in a while I feel that sense of like. Oh,
that's good for you that you feel that way.
And so you need to do more work.
Okay. That's the key part of that. But we're trying to do at least once every week and try and get some kind of, system in place. And someday we'll be good enough to actually say in advance.
Oh, like that.
Hey, we've gotten pretty good at the technology.
Well, like today was a new mic, and it was acting funny at pre, but then as soon as we went live, it worked. So I think it can work. Daisy May said, "You said Thursday," and I had to think. Wait, is today Thursday?
No, this is a weird time for us. We never do this time, but we were ready to go, so we figured let's give it a whirl.
And that's the thing is, if we don't have a schedule, like if we did a set schedule, I know it would be way easier for people. They could participate. We could, get routine on it. But at the same time,
And we're locked into doing it. It's like
the
homework.
spontaneity is part of the fun. I think when you're like, I'm ready to paint. I've got a theme. I'm ready for you to paint because I have nothing on the schedule. I feel like it's more fun that way. We're selfish. We don't want to work like adults.
Yeah, I just made her pop that little bit of white in there.
We paint a lot of alcoholics.
Yeah. A lot of rehab people in my paintings. You can't tell; they're all splotchy red skin. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Again, thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna try. We'll be back again maybe this week, but definitely next week. We're gonna try and do at least one a week. Damn it! But again, thank you guys for joining us. Great questions tonight. I always appreciate the support, hanging out with us, and thanks again. And we'll catch you on the next one. Good night, or good day, or good morning.